Hey guys, Lord here, back again with another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at an oldie, but in my opinion, a goodie, quote unquote, because today we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars Black Series Clone Commander Cody, as he appeared in Revenge of the Sith. I figured since we looked at Commander Bakara yesterday, why not take a look at the only other named clone trooper I have from Revenge of the Sith. And of course, being good old Cody here. This, of course, brought to us by the fine folks over at Hasbro. And before we get too far ahead of ourselves, when we got right to the chase and get to the meat daters of this review and take a look-see at all Cody has to offer in terms of accessories, he's got the two clone blasters. This one I'm borrowing from Bakara, who we will bring out for size comparisons later. A bit of an update from his review, but I tend to display Cody with this smaller rifle here, so there you go. Well, blaster, I guess. It's a better way to put it. But yes, Cody is on the old body, and if I'm not mistaken, was one of the first clone troopers we ever got in this line. And not for nothing, this is the original. This is not the archive collection reissue that I think was carded, right? This is the... I want to say they had switched to the blue box, but when Black Series first came out with Darth Maul and stuff, they had like the orange stripe on the box. This had a blue stripe. If I'm not mistaken, IG-88 was also in this wave. So that said, I picked this guy up from my now defunct local FYE shortly after I stopped working there in 2015, and man, oh man, for its time, it was a good figure. It's not bad. It still isn't. You sons of bitches are just spoiled by pinless tech, and this guy has none of that. He's got pins galore. Look at all those pins. Look at all those pins. Look at this paint scuff. Like, this guy's seen some shiznit in the Overlord Productions toy room. This guy is covered in dust. He is absolutely covered in dust. He has been moved so much compared to other figures that I've looked at that are a little old on this channel. And I can only imagine that this paint scuff here, which I gotta have somebody touch that up, that ain't the big deal. This paint scuff here is due to the fact that my cabinets have sliding doors, and I think one of them rubbed up against his elbow due to the way he was posed. So there is that. Oh, that elbow was not straightened all the way. Look at that. But at any rate, as far as articulation on this guy goes, his head will look side to side. He does have decent up and down range, tilt, without looking too wonky there. His shoulders will move back and forth. They're on nice tight clicky joints. Shoulders will also move out, and not very far. The shoulder pads are not going to pop up a lot. Maybe if you heated these up, they would move up a little more. This one moves up more, but it's a smaller pauldron. So you can move the arms up at the very least. You got a bicep swivel. It's got a double jointed elbow, but you only get that much out of it, so not the best. Swivel hinge wrists. This hand has the up and down. This one has the in and out, which is okay for holding blasters, but ideally you want the in and out on, the up and down on both of them. That said, he does have a clicky joint in the diaphragm. I can lean back, not so much forward. It does have a little bit of tilt, but pretty hindered there. But maybe if you hit this with heat, it'll soften up, but I don't think so. I really think we need a new Cody, because we got a new Rex, alright, but I think it's time Cody gets his due, because he's like the second most popular clone trooper, if I'm not mistaken. The first, because he predates Rex by a couple of years, because Rex, as far as I know, is Clone Wars original. That said, his hips will kick forward about this far, down, they'll kick out barely at all. That's the one thing they could stand to have better range in, is the hips. He does have a thigh cut, which, yes, this plate does kind of hinder getting the leg up, but it is doable. He's got double knee. Kind of floppy down in the knees, I'm not gonna lie. Then he has a hinge in the foot with a rocker. And yeah, once again, kind of floppy in the foot too, so not the best, really, but he is definitely far from the worst. I still really like this figure. I always thought Cody was cool, despite the fact he turned into a bastard in Revenge of the Sith, like every clone trooper except Captain Rex, apparently. Captain Rex is like the only good guy. Clone left, other than maybe the Bad Batch. Or as friends of the channel like to call them, the Dad Batch. But getting his blaster in his hand. Actually, let me tilt that up. Maybe that'll be a little better. I think it is. His other hand like that. Yeah. There. There he is holding his blaster with two hands. I mean, you can't say I don't give you your money's worth on this channel. I'm showing you how to properly pose a clone with his blaster in two hands. Who else is going to do that? Probably every other channel out there that's already reviewed this figure, if not once then twice, because they bought the archive version. But at any rate, not perfect, but not bad at all in my opinion. So with that being said, it is time now that we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here's good old Commander Cody alongside his Jedi of choice. This is, of course, the armored Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Clone Wars Micro series, not the Clone Wars proper. Although this Cody isn't from Clone Wars either. You guys know where I go with my Star Wars Black Series display. It's Clone Wars all day, every day, 7 days a week. But then we also have another clone commander specifically from Revenge of the Sith in Commander Bakara, who, again, if I'm not mistaken, is Mace Windu's clone of choice. But don't quote me on that. I'm just assuming that because he's purple. But yeah, I think Cody scales okay with these two. I mean, the clone troopers are relatively the same size despite the body being different on Cody and Bakara, and then of course he's about the same height as Obi-Wan there. Getting these two out of the way. Actually, I'm going to do this a little differently because I wanted to point out that on Bakara, I actually did get his elbows to bend. I heated up the elbow pads so they would shift up, and then I pushed the elbow, and that seems to have done the trick. So if you get these new clone troopers, heat up the elbow region, and you'll work the elbows loose, because this guy's elbows are really tight out of box. But you can work those elbows a little loose and shift those little straps going across the front of the elbow joint up, so that way they're out of the way, and you can pose them holding their blaster properly, like this. How I likes it. That said, bring our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibilith. And the infamous 11 Spawn, who, as usual, towers over everyone. So, with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and despite the fact that good old Commander Cody utilizes the old pinned, emphasis on the pins, I know you guys love them, clone trooper body, I still like this figure and managed to get him in a pretty sick pose. Low-key inspired by his old Tactics figure from back in the day, for those of you who remember those. But at any rate, I like this figure. However, I would really like a Clone Wars proper phase, is it 1 or 2 version of Commander Cody here to go with the likes of Captain Rex and the other clone commandos, because if I'm not mistaken, Revenge of the Sith was post Clone Wars, and those were Phase 3 armors. So, yeah, and maybe some way, somehow, we get the little hologram of the Emperor initiating Order 66. If they were to make this version of Cody on the new body like Commander Bakara, that would also be pretty sweet. So, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, catch you guys later.